When Lena de Grummond came to the University of Southern Mississippi to teach children's literature at the School of Library Science in 1965, she envisioned resources that went beyond the classroom textbook. The de Grummond Children's Literature Collection is the result of one woman's dream to collect original materials from authors and illustrators of children's books to use as resources for students in library science. If students could study the creative processes of authors and illustrators by examining the manuscripts and illustrations firsthand, she knew they would better appreciate the literature. Dr. de Grummond became acquainted with a number of authors in her previous position in Louisiana as State Superintendent of Louisiana School Libraries. To accomplish her goal, she sent handwritten letters to them, as well as to her favorite children's book authors, to request original manuscripts and typescripts, illustrations, sketchbooks, and any material related to the publication of a children's book, such as galleys, dummies, publisher correspondence, and fan mail. At one point, she wrote as many as 100 letters per week. The first to respond were Bertha and Elmer Hayter, the husband and wife author-illustrator team who sent manuscript materials, dummies, and illustrations for Ding Dong Bell. The contributions from the Hayters were soon followed by more from Lois Linsky, Elizabeth Coatsworth, and Roger de Voisin.
I think the most interesting part of the history of the collection is the correspondence between Dr. de Grummond and the authors and illustrators she contacted. You hear it said that she wrote as many as 300 and 400 letters a month. That's no joke. She would write them. She was interested in their lives. She wanted to know about their families, and the relationships developed as that correspondence went along. We're accustomed to relationships developing online because it's so fast and furious, and communication is so easy. But when I consider the amount of time and the amount of care and thought that went into maintaining a correspondence to develop relationships with the authors and illustrators, I am amazed. One clear example of how a relationship evolved at the time when the collection was just beginning is with H.A. and Margaret Ray. Even though they were not the first to respond to Dr. de Grummond's queries about the collection, they were in the very first group because it all started in 1966. And it's so interesting to look through the correspondence and see how H.A. Ray, the very first letter, says, "Dear Mrs. de Grummond." I don't know if he thought she was Dr. de Grummond or what, but it was "Dear Mrs. de Grummond." And that, of course, is where the image from our t-shirt comes, because he illustrated it with George with a portfolio under his shoulder. And then you skip ahead a few years, and the tone of the letters is as if speaking to a dear old friend. Dear Lena, dear Margaret, dear Hans.
Founded in 1966, the de Grummond Children's Literature Collection has grown far beyond its original intent and is now one of the largest collections in North America. The collection contains the works of more than 1,300 authors and illustrators, including Randolph Caldecott, John Newbery, Kate Greenaway, H.A. and Margaret Ray, and Ezra Jack Keats. These are some of the most celebrated names in children's literature, with Caldecott, Newbery, and Greenaway all having prestigious national awards named in their honor, and the Rays being the creators of Curious George. Keats, the man behind The Snowy Day, is one of America's most groundbreaking authors, with his efforts to break the color barrier in children's publishing. The Snowy Day is considered to be one of the most important American books of the 20th century.
The fact that we have papers from Randolph Caldecott, that we have wood blocks that he carved, and correspondence from a Greenaway Caldecott scholar who lets us know that Greenaway and Caldecott were contemporaries. Just the tidbits of information that can be gleaned from going through the collection is one of my favorite parts. Dr. de Grummond's eye for rare books and the significance of a collection of books to complement the original illustrations and manuscripts is another admirable quality to the entire collection. Last count, we had about 160,000 books that relate to the authors and illustrators, that are historic, that are scholarly works about children's literature, and it is a haven for scholars. Anybody can come here and get something from this collection.
Original materials are supplemented by a book collection of more than 160,000 volumes of historical and contemporary children's literature, and include Aesop's Fables that date back to 1530, a board game from 1790, and more than 100 versions of the Cinderella story and the papers of popular young adult author John Green. Complementing these holdings are scholarly studies, biographies, bibliographies, and critical works. Now 50 years later, Dr. de Grummond's legacy lives on. Her influence remains strong, and she is often quoted in correspondence with potential donors.
There's no question that Dr. de Grummond's imprint is on this collection. We are continually contacting authors and illustrators and donors. We receive donations every year. Books come to us from amazing places. Last year, I think we had over 10,000 books donated to the collection. We still have that personal touch.
Researchers from across the United States, around the world, and all disciplines at Southern Miss visit the collection on a regular basis to study its fables, fairy tales, folklore, nursery rhymes, textbooks, fantasy, fiction, primers, and children's magazines. Efforts to ensure the longevity and growth of the de Grummond Children's Literature Collection for its use for decades to come depend on the continued development of the collection, much like the work Dr. de Grummond began in 1966.
Dee Jones, who was here for 20 years as a curator, is another one. I often joke and say Dee put the D in de Grummond because Dee's presence for 20 years and her eye for collection development cannot be denied. Everybody who has been here has left something significant. Everyone who has served in some capacity as a collection specialist or assistant curator or curator has contributed mightily.
Since its founding 50 years ago, the collection has become one of the largest and most well-known collections of children's literature in the world. Today, the de Grummond Children's Literature Collection hosts numerous world-class exhibits from some of the industry's most well-known authors and illustrators, including Rosemary Wells and Tasha Tudor. The collection also plays a significant role in the Fay B Kaigler Children's Book Festival each year by hosting the Grummond Lecturer and the Ezra Jack Keats Book Award, a national award given to newcomers in children's literature.
Now, when I think that the collection is only 50 years old, it seems much older because of the resources available, the things that we have, the people who use the collection and the ways it is used. The contributions over the years from all of the people, the donors, the people who clean off their bookshelves and send us books, the various staff members who have worked here in the collection. It's an amazing sense of ownership. We all like being a part of the de Grummond collection. I think we realize its significance, so it's quite a privilege to be here. Happy anniversary, de Grummond.
Hi. I was planting my fig tree. but I wanted to stop and wish all of you at the Grummond Collection a very happy anniversary. Thank you for what you do on behalf of children's literature.
Happy 50th anniversary to my friends at the Grummond. Half a century of standing up for kids' authors and children's books is something to really be proud of. Thanks for all you do.
So I would like to wish Ezra Keats a very happy 100th birthday, and also the Grummond Collection a very happy 50th birthday.
Dear Grummond Collection, happy birthday! May you have many more half-centuries and whole centuries of continued growth and success.
Congratulations to Ellen Ruffin and all who are involved in the Grummond Collection. I wish you all so well on this 50th anniversary, and it's been my pleasure to be a part of it. Thank you.
The Grummond Collection was an amazing place to spend half of my 44-year professional career. I can only hope that the next 50 years will be as transformative as the last 50. A happy silver anniversary to everyone.
Hi, John Green here. I just wanted to wish the Grummond Collection a very happy 50th birthday. I was blown away by the Grummond Collection when I first visited it, and I feel very, very lucky that so much of my work is available there, and that everyone who works there has worked so hard over these decades to ensure that children's literature is held up to this wonderful high academic standard, and that great manuscripts are available for researchers and just for children's literature enthusiasts. So thank you very much. Thanks to all of the librarians and teachers in the audience for your wonderful work. And as we say in my hometown of Nerdfighteria, don't forget to be awesome.